Good evening and welcome to 90 Minutes. It's Monday the 26th of October. I'm Simon Alamandi and as normal I'm here with my trusty co-host Pete Hill. Evening mate, how you doing?
Yeah, good evening. I'm doing good. Could be out the wind and rain, and is there any more rain up there still to come down? Hopefully not, but it's nice to be here in the closeted back bedroom which is now my home for 90 minutes on a Monday evening.
That's it. I mean, you say wind and rain, it's freezing as well. I've even got the heating on, Pete.
Oh, it's bad news, isn't it? It's bad news. Roll on march, that's what I say.
Well, we've got a guest this week. He's Chloe Clay. Looking forward to that chat with her, talking about more local women's football, Pete.
Yeah, always really good to catch up with Chloe because she's a big fan of the show as well. She listens as well. So good to catch up with Chloe. And I'll tell you, we got some belting donuts coming up in the second half as well.
I can't wait for those, Pete. I'm really looking forward to that.
But before we do that, well, let's wind the clock back, shall we? Exactly 7 days, indeed, to Monday the 19th and the Bluefin Sport Insurance Development League, where it finished Bury Town 2, Ware 3. 2 more for Tommy Shepherd and a goal for Noah Southall, making it 2 wins out of 2 for Ware's impressive under-23 side. Top of the table as Brentwood played 3-7 points. Ware played 2-6. Haringey Borough played 2-4. Hertford are in 5th, but bear in mind, they've only played 1 game and they've won that. And the one thing to take out of that, I mean, we talked to people at the end of last season in terms of the development team and the youth team, and they were a little bit worried about the youth team stepping up to development league level. But boy, have they stepped up to that level.
I think they've done absolutely fantastic. And you say, Tommy Shepherd, he got another couple of goals. He's absolutely been on fire this season, hasn't he? And fantastic. And they've made it look easy, really, haven't they?
Well, they have so far. And, Hertford as well. I mean, they won their first game 4-1 in that particular division. Well, on Tuesday, it was Isthmian League Division 1 South Central. And sticking with Ware, we were at Wodson Park, where only Ware's second home league game of the season, which is pretty crazy towards the end of October. But it finished Ware 3, Barking 1. Here's the story of the match. Here's Junior Luke going towards the area, pulls the ball across, and great defending by Finley Titchmarsh. Otherwise, Dadson would have had a shoe in. Chris Arthur going down that left-hand side, got plenty of space here to tee up the cross. Arthur chips it into the box. Lee Rhodes with a header, and we're going front. 27 minutes gone. Chris Arthur provides the assist and Lee Rhodes scores his second of the season, and Ware lead Barking here by 1-0. Dylan has to help his central defender out, and Titchmarsh has done superbly again across the area. Lee Rhodes in and just couldn't steer it goalwards. Super work by Finley Titchmarsh again, and Lee Rhodes, was within inches of scoring his second. Former Dagenham and Redbridge player is going to take this with his left boot. Puts it out to the far side where Hayes had come in, got the header, and here's Junior Luke who puts it in the back of the net. Well, the ball headed back across the area. Ware didn't react, and Junior Luke has volleyed it into the top of the net after 36 minutes, and we're back on level terms here at Wodson Park. Ware 1, Barking 1. O'Brien fires in the shot, and Kishka has to push it away at his near post. Lee Rose completes the clearance, and that completes the action at the end of the first half here at Wodson Park. Half-time, Ware 1, Barking 1. So yet another one added to the treatment list as Ala Ushti goes away down on this near side. Tapod gets back, gives it away to Alba Adu. Oh, Bono's missed it, and it's turned in on the far post by Marcus Milner. Catalogue of errors for Barking, but Ware are back in front. Ball put across the area. Alba Adu, goalkeeper, missed it. And Marcus Milner scores his first goal back in a Ware shirt to put Paul Wolsey's team back in front with just a minute and a half of the second half gone. Just 2 minutes into the second period, but here's some defending to be done as far as Ware are concerned. Oh, Dadson's hit the post. Super turn by Junior Dadson. Kitchker was nowhere, and the ball rebounded off the goalpost. It's Ware will get it back, though, with Dan Rumans. Rumans is brought to the ground, but Ware will still get it back with Pat Adamson as the referee plays on. Adamson for Albert Adu on the edge of the area. Albert looks to tee up the shot. Oh, it comes off the post. Well, we've seen one come off the post at either end. This time it was Albert Adu. Agbula was nowhere near it. And it's the woodwork this time. Came to Ware's rescue from Junior Dadson. It's robbed them there. Still at 2-1. And Titchmarsh grabs hold of the ball again from Westendorf. And a lovely ball to Albert Adu. Marcus Milner's away down the right-hand side. Crowther getting into the box. Here's Rhys Crowther. 3-1 Ware. Super move. Rhys Crowther scores the goal. And surely that is 3 points for Paul Hall's team. Excellent move. Finlay Titchmarsh started it off, and then the ball came across the area, and there was Rhys Crowther to provide the finishing touches and put Ware 3-1 in front. 24 minutes into the second half. As well to shrug aside Ware's number 12, and coming into the area is Junior Luke. Out comes Kishka. Luke goes down. Referee points to the spot. Callum Kishka. Well, the goalkeeper convinced he got the ball. He's not happy with Junior Luke, but this could be a way back into the game for Barking. We've got 15 minutes and a bit to go. Junior Luke against Callum Kitchka. Referee sounds the whistle. Luke strides to his left-hand side, stutter step, and Kitchka saves. Super save. Callum Kitchka keeps the score at 3-1. Saw him save one at the other end last season, of course, against Tooting and Mitcham, and he did the same thing there. Long kick forward, up goes Zadu, and that's going to be the final action here at Wodson Park, Ware's first home league win of the season, secured by goals from Lee Rose in the first half, Marcus Milner and Rhys Crowther in the second. Junior Luke scoring an equaliser in the first half for Barking, and then seeing his penalty saved by Callum Kitchka in the second period. Good entertaining second half. This is more like the Ware we know. They will edge close to the playoff zone. So 3-1 in the end, and I kind of described that as a return of the old Ware. They were kind of back to almost where they were at the end of last season.
I think it was, yeah. I mean, you know, what we'd seen of them, you know, in previous games, they didn't quite look, you know, where they were, sort of thing. But definitely that game, they look back to, like you say, the old Ware, and especially in that second half, Pete. It was a cracking second half, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. And, you know, a couple of players to pick out, and I picked him out in commentary. Finlay Titchmarsh, this boy's some find for a 17-year-old right back.
I mean, he's fantastic. He's impressed us all season. Every single game that we've seen him, he's impressed us. And we can't speak highly enough of him, can we?
Certainly, and the other, you know, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, but the other side of his career range, Chris Arthur's come in, and you know, he looks a good player, reads the game well, he's strong, and very much looks the part.
Yeah, he's settled straight into that squad, hasn't he? You know, he's looked fantastic, and he looks a really strong addition to the squad. Got a lot of experience, and maybe, you know, we'll wait and see what happens with Ware. But on the right track, certainly they were on Tuesday night, as well Hertford Town. The original, of course, visit to Westfield, who play opposite Woking's Ground in Surrey, was rained out, so they had to go there on a Tuesday night. Never an easy thing to do against a team many people feel will be there or thereabouts come at the end of the season. Well, it finished Westfield 1, Hertford Town 3. A sign of how far Ben Hurd's young team have come. Last season, they were thrashed 9-1 at home by the same opponents. And whilst the Woking Club underwent wholesale changes in the summer, shouldn't take anything away from another excellent Hertford performance. Had to do it the hard way. Aidan King scoring his first senior goal for Westfield just before half-time. Only took 2 minutes of the second half for the visitors to get back on level terms, though, through Luke Geimer. And it was the quick-footed number 10 who put Hertford in front
front after 57 minutes. David Ogbonna adding the icing to a considerable cake with his second goal of the season, 16 minutes from time. Westfield took to Twitter, and fair play to them for saying a disappointing second half once again, and our visitors Hertford Town FC leave with a fully deserved 3 points. Hertford took to Twitter, fantastic progress made on and off the pitch over the past year. Took us 14 league games to reach 9 points last season. And then tonight was the 4th time we've played Westfield. Our previous results were lost 3-1, lost 5-2, lost 9-1. So they really have come a long way.
I mean, they have. It really goes to show, doesn't it? And another thing I noticed they put on Twitter, Pete, they put one of those, what it was like then, what it is now tweets, and they showed the result of 9-1 from last season and the result of 3-1 from that evening. So fantastic. And, you know, it's good to see them so active on Twitter as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great for that, and great for some of those players because, you know, it wasn't as if Hertford have wholesale changed their squad either, because a lot of those players played in that 9-1, and we had Kit Brown on a couple of weeks ago, and Kit is always reminded of the fact he made his Hertford debut in that one where Westfield won 9-1.
That's it, yeah, and I suppose it's that bit of revenge for them, and, you know, to go there, to put that 9-1 at the back of their minds, because I'm sure it was in their minds, but to put it, you know, in the back of their minds and come out with a 3-1 victory, absolutely fantastic result for them.
And fair play to Westfield for their reaction as well. They're a very nice, friendly run club there, and we wish them well for the rest of the season. On the same night in the Essex Senior League, well, the games between the Hoddesdon Town and Redbridge and St Margaret's in Walthamstow were both postponed through COVID concerns. But thankfully, as far as we know, everybody came through that, which was good news. But Crofters, it finished Sawbridgeworth Town 3, Sporting Bengal United 2. Welcome win for the Robins, ending their run of 3 straight defeats. Still work to be done with another 2 goals conceded. But an attack, which had only managed 1 in the last 3 games, sprung into life to secure the points. Sawbridgeworth in front after only 5 minutes from the penalty spot through Connor Clark. Emerson Mario Dejar pulling the visitors level with a well-struck free kick. That's the way it was at the break. Sporting Bengal went back in front. Another penalty converted by Rashid Quist. The game, though, turned when the visitors went down to 10 men for the final 10 minutes of the match, allowing the Robins' numerical advantage to turn into 2 goals from Connor Clark and James Mays. There was, though, still an nail-biting finish as Sam Butler saved the 3rd penalty of the game deep into added time to secure the 3 points. And they really did need those 3 points.
Yeah, they did. I mean, fantastic for them to come back, 2-1 down, come back to win 3-2. And like you said, they needed those 3 points because, they hadn't won in their previous 7 games. So it was good for them to get those points under their belts.
Yeah, great for them to get the points on the belt. Just a little pointer, anybody listening from Sawbridgeworth, how about putting a bit more on social media? Then we'll all know what's going on and might get a few people through the gate as well on the back of it. So that'd be really good. Moving on to Wednesday and the FA Youth Cup. You were at the Park, Hardingford Berry Park, watching the Hertford Town's youngsters take on Leiston. Finished Hertford Town 3, Leiston 1.
I was, yeah. I mean, it was a fantastic performance for the young Hertford lads. They progressed to the first round proper to face MK Dons away, Pete. They started the stronger of the 2 sides. They soon lost Max Husden, who fell awkwardly after 10 minutes. He tried to carry on, but he couldn't. He went down the second time. And as he did, the floodlights went out. We've had that a couple of times ourselves, but after a 10-minute delay, we were underway again, and the break didn't harm Hertford's momentum as just a couple of minutes later, they won a penalty after Lachey Agua was brought down in the box, which Albert Rashi duly put away. Leiston hadn't been threatening the home goal, but with plenty of time to be added on in the 4th minute of added time in the first half, they found an equaliser when Ben Morling's shot was deflected in past Ozzer Akali as a Bamwang in the Hertford goal. That lead lasted just 4 minutes as Hertford were awarded a free kick just on the edge of the D in the Leiston half. Ben Wayman stepped up to take it, and after Harvey Garnham in the Leiston goal parried the ball, Stanley Nash was on hand to poke it home. That was all the action for the first half as the home side went in 2-1 up. Second half was pretty even, Leicester were looking for a way back into the tie, but couldn't really find a way through the Hertford defence. Ben Wayman had a couple of good runs down the left of the Blues that left the visitors scrambling the ball away. But no real chances fell until the 84th minute when Hertford awarded a free kick. Albert Rashid took control of this one and coolly curled it into the right-hand corner to put the tie out of reach for the visitors. Full-time whistle came and there were wild celebrations from the Hertford players with the fans in the stable end, many of who were from Ben's Academy. Fully deserved win for the young lads, and Pete, I'm sure they'll be looking forward to that tie at MK Dons in the beginning of November.
Yeah, brilliant reward for them, isn't it? And on Hertford Twitter, according to our unofficial historian and Mr. Hertford Town, who we know, of course, is our friend Brian Jennings, this may well be the first time we've had a team in the first round proper of the FA Youth Cup, which is some achievement. And also, when you look at it, I mean, the first team, and we'll excuse Ben from this, as we always do, has got an average age of 19. It's amazing. They've found a bunch of youngsters, even younger, to get through the first round of the FA Youth Cup.
That's it. I mean, not to forget, like I mentioned there, Ben Wayman, he was a regular in the first team last season and he's still eligible for that.
Well, on Thursday, there was more FA Youth Cup action, but unfortunately not such a good result because it finished in Surrey, Leatherhead 6, Ware 3. Disappointment in the end for Ware's youngsters as they were made to pay for a poor second-half showing. Things started brightly when the prolific Tommy Shepherd headed home Cameron Meadows cross to give the visitors the lead. Leatherhead equalised through Ellis Pringle just before the break. At 1-1 at half-time, there was still all to play for in the second period, but Ware quickly found themselves trailing. Ryan Trevitt scoring a quick-fire double to make it 3-1 with only 12 minutes to the second half played. 5 minutes later, Trevitt completed his hat-trick, where though struck back immediately through substitute Harry Maslin before Jamie Pike booked a trip to Gillingham in the next round for Leatherhead with 5 minutes to go. Again, Harry Maslin struck back to make it 5-3. Matteo Adler completing the scoring for the home side 2 minutes later, and Ware's frustrating night completed by last-minute red card for Reece Crowther. So they bow out. But again, they've got through. They got through the first round last season. They've fallen at the final hurdle this. And just another example of there are some really good youth footballers in our area.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be disappointed at going out at this stage, but it's still a fantastic achievement to get as far as they have, I think.
Yeah, Leatherhead, a very strong side as well. They won 10-0 in their previous round, so they'll go on to face a trip to Gillingham. That brings us around to Saturday in the Isthmian League Division 1 South Central, where it finished Chertsey Town 4, Hertford Town 1. Tough day at the office for Hertford's young side. Jake Baxter gave Chertsey the lead after 16 minutes, beating Luke Mewett at a near post. Lead low only lasted 10 minutes before Isaac Pedro's slide rule pass was perfectly dispatched by Sam Fanian for his third goal of the season. An error 6 minutes later let the home side in for a quick break, which finished with a goal from Magnus Sabesogan. That's the way it stayed until the half-time in front of a crowd of 400. A couple of early second-half changes for the Blues, with Terence Sanday introduced for his debut, along with Gursuek Jagdev. But it was the home side who struck next through Scott Day after 69 minutes. Jake Baxter's second of the game with 8 minutes left, securing the points. David Ogbonna summing up Hertford's afternoon, missing the target when clean through in the final minutes. After the game, Brian Jennings caught up with Hertford's assistant manager, Mark Sinfield.
So I finished here at Chertsey 4, Hertford Town 1. I'm sitting here in the stand now with Mark Sinfield. Mark, not the best of games so far this season.
No, it was pretty grim, to be honest with you, Brian. I think it's twice in a week now. We went to Faversham, played against the side, very strong and physical, and we didn't deal with it. And the same again today. I think we got what we deserved, which was well beat. And there was no excuse for it, really, no reason for it. The conditions were fine. We'd just come off the back of a really good performance over at Westfield. And for whatever reason, we were just second best all over the park. I can't have any complaints about the result. It just wasn't good enough, unfortunately.
No, many a time a scoreline like this doesn't look like a 4-1, but this one certainly did. Missing Chris Golding, a big impact?
Yeah, I mean, you lose a central defender from a settle back four, it's always going to have an impact. But again, I don't think that's the reason why we lost. I think, ultimately, Paul Symes went in there, and we can't point to that and say that's the reason why we lost the game. The reason why we lost the game is because the fundamentals of the game, in terms of working hard, hunting impacts when you're out of possession, trying to win ball back as early as possible, being aggressive with it once you've got it, being dynamic, trying to take on your man, running past people, tracking your runners, all of that sort of stuff that you have to do irrespective of who's playing for you. We didn't do today. So it wasn't a case of the personnel missing was the reason why we got beat 4-1. I mean, Chris is a good player, don't get me wrong, and he's a leader, and maybe we lost a little bit of that leadership today, but it was irrelevant. The reason why we lost today is because collectively and individually we didn't work hard enough.
Yep. Early chance to bounce back, perhaps, against Wodson Peter.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we've got only 3 days to wear this result. We've got a chance against Chalfont on Tuesday to put it right. But it doesn't matter who we play in this league. You can play against any team in this league, and if you don't do the fundamentals well, then you're gonna find it hard. And that's what happened today. And so the players have got to reflect over the next couple of days and look at the games where they've done well, and look at what they did well to win those games.
Yep.
It's a very simple game, sometimes made complicated by people, and I think that from our perspective, the bare minimum that we ask of the team is to make sure whatever you do, you try and outwork the opposition, and we didn't do that today. They outworked us. They were more than worthy winners, and the reason for that was because they worked a little bit harder than we did, and that's that shouldn't be. It's not acceptable, and that's the disappointing aspects of today.
Lovely, Mark. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, as always, to Brian, and thanks to Mark for the words, which, I guess summed it up, really. Weren't at the races against a very physical side, Chertsey, physical, experienced team. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be especially disappointing for them, isn't it? Especially for that result like that we said about, during midweek. And it's one of them things that they've got to now pick themselves up off of that and dust themselves down and go on to the next game, I guess. Yeah, I guess they can look at, Mark in the interview mentioned Faversham. They lost that 4-1. They bounced back to win 3-1 at Westfield. So there's no reason why they can't bounce back. They've got a game tomorrow night, of course, which we'll mention a little bit later. And no reason why they can't bounce back again. I mean, it's going to happen with a young team. I mean, young teams very exciting to watch. We love the football they play, but you've got to expect them to go up and down a bit. Yeah, of course you haven't. The thing is, you look at the squad they've got there as well, and you mentioned Jagdev. He's on the bench. I mean, he's another player that's impressed us this season, and he's started on the bench. Yeah, I think, I think we've said it previously on the show. When you look at the Hertford bench, you looked at the Hertford bench last season and you thought, well, with the greatest respect, there's not really many players there that are going to change a game. But, they've got that strength in depth this year. So really good to see. In the same division, finished South Park 1, Ware 4. Ware building on their midweek win against Barking to move into the playoff picture for the first time this season. Paul Halsey made just one change to the lineup, with Stanley Mugu recalled in place of Tom Bruno. Conditions got the better of both teams in the first half. The home side struck first, though, when Finley Titchmarsh was caught out on the halfway line and Baz Savage curled a shot in from the edge of the area. Could have been 2 shortly after that, but Andrew Denby's effort rebounded off the inside of the post before rolling across the line. 32 minutes in, the visitors were level, though keeper Rowan Luthra spilling Finley Titchmarsh's shot at the feet of Albert Adu, who finished for his first of the season. The Blues then went in front 3 minutes before the break. Lee Rose finishing an excellent move involving Al Aroushdi, Chris Arthur and Bat Adamson. Just past the hour mark, it was 3-1. Albert Adu heading home Finley Titchmarsh's assist for his 5th goal at Whitehall Lane in his last 3 visits. Thanks to Steve King, as always, for that one. The final final goal arrived in injury time. Reece Krauser's free kick, headed down by Dave Kendall for Devontae Sims to apply the finishing touch, his first senior goal in a competitive match. Football web pages, of course, struck again. They gave that goal originally to Al-Oujdi, but we put it right on Twitter, and we know Devontae was very happy with that and his goal, and I'm sure Bawaldi was very happy with a 4-1 win.
That was it, yeah. I mean, I put the scorers out on Twitter, and obviously, took it from football web pages saying it was Al-Oujdi, and there was the correction that came later that it was, Devontae that got it. So, well done for his first senior goal. 2 goals from Albert Adu, Lee Rose's second goal of the week, and, fantastic 4-1 victory for them. I'm sure Paul was very happy.
Yeah, and also, good signs. Dave Kendall back in action, going on as a substitute. Harry Watkins back, having been injured on the bench. So get Liam Hope and, Gaz Madden fit, and suddenly you've got a full squad to pick from there.
That's it. I mean, this goes back to what we were saying from their game on Tuesday. That they're looking like the old wear again, aren't they?
Certainly are, and they've crept into the playoff zone in a table which has Waltham happy. What a form team they are. Played 16 points, 5-1 victory against Northwood. Jason Hallett getting a hat-trick. Second, though, the big surprise of the season, still there, Ashford Town Middlesex. Played 6, 13 points, won 2-1 at Harlow on Saturday. Tooting are up to third, played 6, 12 points. Good 4-0 win at Staines, for whom the bubble seems to have burst a little bit. We're in fourth, played 6, 12 points with a goal difference of +5. Bracknell in fifth, and they've got considerable 2 games in hand on all their rivals and have got 10 points. Harvard Down in 10th, played 6, 9 points. Bottom 2, FC Romania, played 4, 3 points. And Harlow, surprisingly, played 6, 3 points. Southern League Division 1 South Central. We were at the Utilita on Saturday, where it finished Welwyn Garden City 1, Kempston Rovers 1. Here's the story of the match. Welwyn Garden City, of course, all in claret. Kempston about to get us underway, kicking from left to right here. And away we go. Sexton's ball, looking for Tishkala. It's Thomas Apuku. Apuku showing that good strength again. Might tee up the shot here. He does! Oh, and just wide. Denton's kick again is none too sure. Straight for Johnny Sexton. Far side is Robbie Buchanan, and saved by the goalkeeper's legs. Buchanan brings it down well. Buchanan's in the area here, fires in the shot. Goalkeeper stops it with his legs, but it's turned in to the back of the net by Jack Vasey. Early pressure pays off. Citizens in front with only 6 minutes on the clock. It comes across. They're headed down by Powell, and against the crossbar by Goodman. And cleared in the end by Akwasi. So good chance for the visitors to strike back. Lee Close, who sends Johnny Sexton going to Shkala. He's on this left-hand side. Akwasi's unmarked at the moment in the middle, but Shkala, can he find him again? Is Akwasi, and blocked by Denton. Good save by the goalkeeper. Stratton's got plenty of room to move into. Long ball forward, looking for Baker, who surely was offside, but the linesman doesn't agree. Slammer's shots, and he's put it wide of the target. Welwyn Garden City, though, leading by a 1-0, and that's what they're going to be doing at half-time as the referee sounds the whistle here. Jack Vasey's goal after 6 minutes separates the two teams here at the Utilita, just inside the Welwyn Garden City half. And on the far side, Ricardo Green's away here. Green's got a chance to put it into the box, and a header in. But Jordan Slammer makes it 1-1. It was so easy at the end. They sprung the offside trap. Green away on the right. It was a perfect cross. And Jordan Slammer scores his second goal of the season. And we're back level here at the Utilita with 4 minutes of the second half gone. And Baker will take the corner for Kempston Rovers. A good-looking one. The header comes in from Bell. Super save by Charlie Crowley.
Go on, Jordan.
That was going in. Saved by Charlie Crowley's feet. And the Citizens can come forward here with Jordan Denoshi. Here comes the corner, up goes Cole Benson! Over the top by Thomas Apuku. So disappointing in the end, I think, for the Citizens, having gone ahead after just 6 minutes. After the match, we got up with injured midfielder George Ironton, who gave us his thoughts on the game.
George, grab your thoughts after the game. 1-1. bit of a disappointment for you?
Yeah, I don't think we've looked as good as we have in previous weeks, but coming into the game we probably expected to win after, I think we won the last 4 games we played now, so disappointed not to get the result, but have to kind of put it behind us now and kind of move on, but yeah, disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, first 15 minutes you looked decent, good start, and then they sort of come back into it, and that was it levelled off.
Yeah, we looked sharp first 15. When we got Robbie on the ball, he had a few good chances and then had a shot for the goal and Jack scored. So after 10-15 looked promising. Then we just kind of dropped off. Didn't go play on the front foot, let them get back into it, and then if you let that happen, they end up getting a goal, and then we just never recovered from that. But yeah, I mean, good start, but you just have to carry on that for 90 minutes.
And missing a few players, missing yourself, DK, Elliot Bailey. Any news on any of you coming back at all?
Yeah, so it's, a few big players are missing. I mean, DK's massive for us. Elliot got injured last week, but we should hopefully, fingers crossed, all be ready for next Saturday. Not sure on Tuesday, maybe DK will be fit, but yeah, I mean, we've had to change the team from our injuries, and people have come in and haven't played much, but yeah, fingers crossed we'll be back and try and get back out there.
That's it. And you say about them games next week, you've got AFC Dunstable here again on Tuesday, and then the FA Trophy against Horsham away next week.
Dunstable's always a tough game. They're a physical side, so need to be up for that, need to be ready for a battle, and then on to Horsham is a game we definitely want to win. So yeah, go down there, hopefully get 2 results and get back onto winning ways.
Lovely. All the best of luck, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks as always to George, and I think he summed it up as we did. I mean, they looked great in the opening 15 minutes, and then suddenly the wheels came off.
Yeah, I mean, that opening 15 minutes, I think, anyone could have thought, this could be like 4-0 to Welling. They were fantastic, created loads of chances. The Kempston keeper was spilling every shot that came to him, and that was it. Wheels came off, Kempston came back into the game, and I don't know if it was a case of Kempston coming back into the game or Welling letting them back into it, really, Pete.
Yeah, I think they're missing that creativity. They're missing George, they're missing DK, Dave Keenley's side, aren't they, in that midfield. They're missing that kind of creative push. No Elliot Bailey on Saturday as well. They miss him up front. So, they really want to get those 3 players back. They've got a big week coming up. They've got FC Dunstable tomorrow night. Then they've got the FA Trophy against Horsham on Saturday. And they had a real conundrum, I guess, for Nicky Ironton. He's, do you risk DK and do you risk George on Tuesday night against AFC Dunstable, or do you save them for the FA Trophy?
I mean, I think the thing is, like George was saying to us, AFC Dunstable, they're a physical side. So from a personal point of view, obviously I'm not a manager. Maybe it would be better to keep them for Saturday. But the thing is, when you're missing 3 players such as George, DK, and Elliot, that takes a lot out of the team, doesn't it? Missing them 3.
Yeah, Lee Close limped off in the second half as well. We wish him well. Hope he's going to be okay. Ricky Grace, who was in charge on the day with Nicky Ironton away, took to Twitter saying a below-par performance for the Welwyn Garden City boys today, but managed not to lose. Need to improve our quality all round. Top of the table has Aylesbury United on top, played 13 points. They were held, though, 0-0 at Biggleswade on Saturday. Corby Town played 12 points, won 2-1 at Barton. That was a big game between second and fourth at the time. Bedworth in third, played 12 points, 1-1 at Kidlington. Their result, Hales Owen are up to fourth, always going to be there or thereabouts. Played 11 points, beat Daventry 2-0, and Berkhamsted up into the final playoff place. Played 6-11, won 3-0 at Didcot. Welwyn Garden City dropped down to 8th place, but have played 1 game less than all their rivals. In fact, 2 games less than Bedworth, and have got 10 points. Bottom 2, 19th place, Yaxley played 5 points, lost 1-0 at home to Bedford Town. And in 20th place, Biggleswade played 4 points. I think the only thing you can say about certainly the bottom of this division is not going to be a Wantage Town, who were way out of, I think by Christmas they were way out of touch, weren't they? It's going to be quite tight at top and bottom, I think, this league.
Yeah, I think it will be. And, we've seen Biggleswade a couple of times, Pete, and I can't see them remaining bottom too long either.
No, they signed Sam Oyenurin before Saturday's game, former Hertford centre forward. So, let's wish him luck there. In the Essex Senior League on Saturday, finished Sawbridgeworth Town 0, Hoddesdon Town 2. First clean sheet of the season for the Lily Whites, and the third time the Robins have drawn a blank in their last 5 games. Simon Riddle had to shuffle his squad with keeper Liam Nugent and Ollie Sharman both suspended and Blue Gallagher missing. Luke Pearce taking over in goal with Aidan Critchley and Harry Andick getting the start. It was Andick who gave the visitors the lead, steering home Liam Mulligan's low cross on the half-hour mark. Sawbridgeworth struggled to create anything to concern Luke Pearce, taking until the 34th minute to even win a corner. It was a similar pattern in the second period. Pearce only forced to make his first save in the match after 69 minutes. Visitors had to wait until 3 minutes from time, though, before sealing the win. Cyrus Babai setting up substitute Harrison Rookard for his third goal of the season. Hoddesdon back up the 5th in the table. The only concern, second-half injuries to both Jack Riddle and Jack Lee ahead of Saturday's FA Vars tie in Suffolk. Well, I'll have a few coming back for that tie, but that'll be a little bit worrying. We hope Blue Gallagher will be back as well, because he's been on fire at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Blue's played fantastic. I've seen a couple of Hoddesdon games, and he really is central to what they play. But I'm sure someone would be happy with that. Up to 5th in the table, which is a great result for them. And they were up there during last season as well, weren't they?
Yeah, and it's good to bounce back as well. The 4-0 against Saffron Walden, really disappointing, but they got straight back on and up to winning ways. Sadly not for St Margaretsbury, though, where it finished Hakeley 5, St Margaretsbury 0. Nothing much to contend this one as far as the Bury are concerned. Elliot Long bagging a 19-minute hat-trick for the home side before adding a 4th 5 minutes before half-time. Visitors were at least more competitive in the second period, only conceding Ryan Lynch's effort 7 minutes from time. 3 straight defeats, though. We know they've had tough games, 4-2 against 12. But they need to bridge that, don't they? They need to put a stop to that, because they hit a similar run last season, didn't they, when they'd had a couple of hard games, got defeated, and then suddenly found it very difficult to bounce back.
Yeah, they did. If I remember rightly, that was around sort of Christmas time that happened. But they need something to build their confidence a little bit, I think, Pete.
Yeah, certainly need some easier fixtures. Well, looking at the table, United lead the way, played 10-25 points, but they held 1-1 with Southend Manor. Cockfosters in second, also held to a draw, played 9-20 points, 1-1 their game at Stansted, who are third, played 10-20 points. Walthamstow fourth, played 9-18. They won 1-0 at Saffron Walden Town, big win for them that. And Hoddesdon in fifth, played 9-16 points. Sawbridgeworth are 13th with 11 from 11, and St Margaretsbury 16th with 6 from 8. Bottom two, Clapton in 17th, played 10-4 points. They'll have 5-1 home to Enfield. And Woodford Town, got to feel sorry for them, played 9, still yet to register on the point scale. They lost 3-0 at Ilford. In the reserve division, good win for Sawbridgeworth Town's second string. They won 3-2 at Holbridge Sports under 23. Billericay had the table there from Whittam Down. Sawbridgeworth are in fifth. Let's look at the rest of Saturday's football action in the Arts Senior County League Premier Division. Finished Bush Hill Rangers 3, Cuffley Seniors 1. Mustafa Hussain with a double and Rochim Stewart, the other one for the Rangers. Foster's Reserves 3, Welling Garden City under 23s 2. Hoddesdon Town Reserves 2, Royston Town Reserves 3. Hoddesdon 2-1 up in that game at one stage. And Sandridge Rovers 0, Ware Sports 4. Brilliant result for the Sports. 5 unbeaten for them now, and they're flying up the table, which has Royston's Reserves at top. Played 9, 21 points. Wingate Finchley Development in second, played 8, 20 points. Bush Hill Rangers are fourth, played 9, 15. And Ware Sports are up to 8th, played 8, 11 points. In Division 1, good win for Buntingford. They're second on the spin. They beat Bushy Rangers 1-0 thanks to a Charlie Owen penalty. Finished Hinton 1, Hertford Heath 4. Joshua Tilley with the brace. Jamie Marshall and Martin Durkin, the other scorers for the Heath. But Standard and Buckridge went down to their first defeat of the league season. They lost 2-1 at home to Hatfield United. Horacle Components lead the way, played 7-18 points. Hatfield United up to second, played 7-17. Standard and Buggeridge in seventh, played 6-11 points. In Division 2, where Sports Reserves 1, Stringtown 3. Andrew Justice, the scorer for the Sports. And in the Essex Olympian League Division 5, the big match of the day was the B181 derby between Roydon and Epping Reserves. Roydon won it 3-0. Halcyon Griffiths, Carl Stanley, and guess who got the third one, Simon?
Was it Big Mo?
Big Mo Bented on the score sheet. Table has Collier Row Reserves, played 12 points up the top. Royston up to fifth, played 9 points. In the Hertford District League Premier Division, finished Allenbury's Neil Bengio Trinity 2. Simon Phelan and Nathan Kingseller for Trinity. The big game at the top of the table was decided by a last-minute goal from West Mill skipper Alfie Arnold as they beat Mill Lane by 1-0. Where Trinity 3, MKS Carpentry 1, Trinity's first win in the league this season, secured with 2 goals from Alex Wood and 1 from James Charlton. So West Mill head the way, played 13 points from Mill Lane, played 13 in second. In Division 1, well, this goes down as a little bit of history, but Elizabeth Allen Old Boys 0, Albury 0. Is notable because it was the first goalless draw in the Hertford and District League since February. So that's the place to go if you want to see goals, because that's the first time there's been a 0-0 in the league since February. Finished Hertford Heath Reserves 3, Shearing 0, and Wanton at Stone 3, Thunderidge United 3. Wanton's goals coming a couple from Nathan the Hall, the other one from Nathan Beckett, 2 from Michael Hills for Thunderidge, and Alex Pellu getting the other one. Hertford Heath Reserves with that win over second place Shearing go to the top of the table. Both teams, though, have played 5 and got 12 points. In Division 2, finished Bengio Trinity Vets 1, Waltham Abbey A 5, Simon Scott for the Vets. Buntingford Wanderers 0, Mangrove 3, Fred Clark got a couple, and Joshua Glass got the other goal for Mangrove. Hertford Heath A 2, Bullies Crusaders 1, Jake Roberts with a couple for Hertford Heath A. Into Hoddesdon continue to bang in the goals. The Big Greenbury United 4-3 with a hat-trick from Buster Benton Roy and the other one from Stefan Guerrero. Stotfold Junior Town Reserves 2 much, Haddam 5, another hat-trick, this time for Dan Peskett. Robert Cundle and Dan Payne were the other scorers. Table has Waltham Abbey A on top, played 6-16 from Mangrove, played 5-11. Bengio Trinity Vets played 5-10. On to hockey, Eastern Region Division 2 South. Good win for Hertford this, beat East London 2's 4-0. In the table, Old Loudtonians 3 are still top, despite the fact they drew 1-1 with Colchester. Played 5, got 13 points. Stevenage in second, played 5-12. They beat West Hearts 2-1. Hertford up to fourth, though, played 5 and 10 points. In Division 3 South West, disappointing defeat for Welwyn Garden City against the league leaders Letchworth 2s. Finished Welwyn Garden City 1, Letchworth 2s 2. All the goals in the first half. Dave Alleman Smith scoring for Welwyn. They had the better chances in the second, but couldn't find an equaliser. Thanks, as always, to Dan Klinger for the information. Letchworth 2's head the table, played 5-12 points. Berkhamsted second, played 5-11. Welwyn Garden City in sixth place, played 5-7. On to the ladies, Eastern Region Division 2 South West. Finished Hertford 2, league leaders Cross Sticks 5. It was 2-2 though at half-time. Goals for the Hertford ladies from Molly Pallett, and man of the match, Emily Palmer. And the donut, I don't it is beyond the watershed, isn't it? We're allowed to mention this donut. Donut, third in a row for Sophie Rawlinson, this time for stripping off in front of the mayor. What's going on?
I don't know there, Peter. It's another hat-trick, I guess, but not the sort of hat-trick that anyone would want. But, Sophie, come on, what's going on?
What is happening? But it was good news. I've got to put a tweet from Hertford Hockey Club, by the way, and we've got to add our congratulations to this. Well done to Lucy Wells on her selection for the Hertford County squad, and a special mention to Maddie Stewart, who not only got selected for Performance Centre, but has been invited to the National Age Group Trials. So well done to both of you. Table has Cross Sticks on top. They're perfect from their 5 games with 15 points. Blue Hearts second, played 5, 13 points. And Hertford 5. Played 5, 1 point in 11th. And as Nick Bentley was telling us the other week, I mean, it's tough. You go up a division, you lose a couple of players, but, they got to take some heart from that. 2-2 against the league leaders at half-time.
Yeah, and, from what we've seen, CrossFit have been playing brilliant this season. So, take that first half and build from there.
Certainly. Let's look at a bit of news. There have been one signing. Hertford have added Terence Sadie to their squad. He made his debut as a sub on Saturday at Chertsey. He's a 19-year-old midfielder of dual Liberian and UK nationality, formerly a junior at Reading, where he played in the FA Premier Under-18 League. And I guess there might be a bit of a link with Sam Fanian, who obviously was another former Reading junior there. Yeah,
it's possible that he's persuaded him to come and join them, I guess.
And Sawbridgeworth are looking for a new coach. Lee Mankman took to Twitter saying looking for an experienced coach, assistant coach to join Mick, Kieran, Darren and myself at Sawbridgeworth Town. So you can contact Lee if you fancy that job. And just one other thing, an interesting tweet from our friend Ollie Bayliss, who does the excellent non-league show. Decorum Borough Council has sent a warning letter to local clubs. They're increasingly concerned about reports of clubs and spectators breaking the rules and not adhering to social distancing. We run the risk of games being cancelled if this continues, which is an interesting development.
I mean, I think that's, it's really important for people to follow the guidelines because, if they're not, if these local councils or local authorities are noticing that people aren't following the guidelines, then we run that risk of them not letting crowds in, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's all played by the rules, hey, and we'll keep our football going. Talking about attendances, worked out a little few statistics this week about our local attendances at football, and they are really healthy because this season, the Hertford have seen a 35% increase in their average gate, an 11% increase for Ware, and a 49% increase for Welwyn Garden City with our Step 4 clubs. And it goes down to Step 5. Where Hoddesdon's crowds are up 23%, Sawbridgeworth's crowds are up 61%, and there's a 4% increase in the Margaretbury. So crowds on the up all the way around our local area.
Well, I think that's absolutely fantastic. We did say before that, we thought there would be an increase in crowds with people not being able to go and watch, their Premier League or Championship, teams that they support. And it's great that it looks like people are going along to support their local non-league clubs, and long may it continue, Peter. Hopefully, they'll go there, they'll enjoy it, and think, hang on, I'll carry on going.
Yeah, I know we're biased, but, there's a lot of people there finding out what real football's all about, which is brilliant. I hope you enjoy it. And, as we've had the $14.99 fiasco, imagine we can get $14.99 for non-league football. Well, actually, it was a big spread in Sunday's non-league paper, which told you. So, good news to that.
Yeah, I mean, you say about the $14.99 thing, Pete. I do want to mention Newcastle fans because they didn't pay that fee to watch their game last week against Manchester United. Instead, they donated it to a local food bank and raised £16,000. Might be just as well because they lost 4-1. But, well done to Newcastle fans.
Yeah, thumbs up to all of them, most definitely. A bit of basketball news. Fixtures are out for the Women's Basketball League, which features, of course, our very own Oakland Wolves. They start at home to Leicester Riders on December the 12th, then face Essex Rebels away on December the 20th before a visit to Caledonia Pride on the 2nd of January. And former Oakland Wolves WBBL player Nikki Schutler has been named to the German women's national team for the upcoming European Championship qualifiers. Final roster will be named in early November after the first camp. The men's team have lost Evan Walsh, who joined them right at the beginning of the season. He's gone into the British Basketball League to join Surrey Scorchers. 6'2", 22-year-old former Great Britain under-20 international was snapped up after scoring 33 points for the Wolves against Hemel Storm in the El Lynch Trophy. So they'll certainly miss him in the competition to come. Yeah,
it's great, that basketball's actually taking place now, and hopefully we can get some rugby going soon as well, Pete. I don't know how soon that is to coming back.
Yeah, I think January was the earliest that was mooted at Hertford Rugby Club, which is a real shame because, we heard they were going for promotion, they've signed new players, everything's really set up to go in London South East Premier. But, fingers crossed, get it all going in January. That'll be good news. Well, we've got Chloe Clay to come, we've got donuts to come, we've got performances of the week. But before all that, time for the oranges and a little blast from the ref.
Right, welcome back from that break, and we've now got our guest with us. We've got Chloe Clay. Chloe, thanks very much for joining us once again. It's good to have you back on the show.
It's nice to be back as well.
Right, now, last season, your opening season in ladies football, and it all got curtailed and finished early. How disappointing was that for you?
Yeah, it was really disappointing. I was looking forward to finishing the season strong. We'd started picking up our performances, and I'd set myself some goals for the end of the season of what I wanted to achieve in my first season. But obviously, it all got kind of cut short, and it just didn't end how we wanted it to.
Yeah. I mean, I remember before when you was on with us before, you said that the club was in a couple of cup finals, one of them which you wasn't eligible for. And obviously, that got finished, and I guess they didn't get played, did they?
No, neither of them got played, so we was actually quite unlucky. Like, even with the youth as well, there's in a cup semi-final or a cup final, and they wasn't able to play it, and obviously it didn't get rescheduled, so it all kind of got void, which was kind of upsetting.
Yeah, and I know there was some talk about, some counties played their cup finals once things started again in August, September. Some didn't, and it's just a shame that for you as a club that yours didn't get played, isn't it? So that would have been great for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was just a horrible way to end it as well. Like, all the hard work that everyone had put in to get that far in the competition, to then just have it all cut short.
Yeah, I mean, yourself personally, well, there was no football going on for 3.5 months or something like that. How did you keep yourself occupied?
It was quite difficult actually, but I was working a few days a week, and then the other days I was going out on my own, going to play football at the park, just trying to stay fit and keep active.
I mean, I know you was doing a few bits in the garden as well, wasn't you? There was a keepy uppy challenge that I know you took part in as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I like doing keepy uppies in my garden, so it just gave me something extra to be able to do, especially when the weather was nice. It just kept me occupied, and it was to do with a good cause as well.
That's it. It was very good. And over those months, and since we last spoke, have you added to your boot collection at all?
Yeah, I've got a couple new pairs, but one new pair mainly for the season, which I haven't really used at the minute, but I've used them a couple times.
So come on, how many pairs have you got now?
It's probably about 22, I think. But give or take a couple here or there, I think about 22 pairs.
So, I mean, obviously you've got boots for different pitch. If you're playing on grass, if you're playing on 3G or anything like that. But how do you choose what pair to wear?
I don't know. It just depends on the mood of the day, and just depends on whether I really want to wear them or not. I have my favourite pairs of boots, and I have boots that have specific meanings to them, or like have a goal that I scored in them that I vividly remember. Mm-hmm. And some of them are just, I've used to wear them a lot. Now they're just more so full of just the memories, and then I get new pairs to then have different associations with them.
Yeah, I mean, I know your dad. He follows you around a lot, and he was on with you before. How's he been keeping?
Yeah, he's been all right. He's missing my a minute, but he's a bit bored, not being able to
Yeah.
go watch Spurs. He's just kind of stuck at home watching the football on the telly, which isn't the same. And obviously, about me being playing, or my brother's not really been playing either at the minute.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
I remember you.
just
Sorry, go on.
he's just been a bit like, oh, there's nothing really much to do except for watch the football on the telly, which isn't the same.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned your brother Courtney. I remember before you saying about, you watched him play when he was younger and things like that. He was at Cockfosters, if I remember rightly, from before. You say he's not playing much now either?
No, he's not. He's not playing at all really at the minute, but he's starting to get back into it in like a Sunday league, but nothing too major.
Right. Let's get on to Wodson Park Ladies. I mean, you've told me over the last couple of weeks or so that you've got a really strong squad now. Added a few players over the summer. Have they mixed in well with the squad?
Yeah, we've added a couple new youngsters into the side who we brought through from the youth, who I used to play with, and they've added to the team quite well. And then we've had a couple new players join. We had one from Hoddesdon who come over, and we've had a couple others, and they've fit into the side really well. They've strengthened the team, and we've all worked around it, and we've all built like a close relationship. We've got a close-knit squad, and everyone gets along, and it's a really strong squad that can be competing for trophies this year. Yeah,
and is there good camaraderie within the squad? Do you socialise outside of that at all much, or?
Yeah, we all get on really well, and we're all really there's a nice little clique between all the girls, so they all socialise outside as well as just on the pitch. It comes off the pitch as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of those players that you have added is Lucy Sende, who is our unofficial at the moment referee. Lucy, if you are listening, still remember that message that we've sent, and you've got a sister playing there as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got both of them playing. They're really good players, and it's a nice addition to the squad.
I mean, from last season, how much stronger do you think that squad is that you started with compared to this season? Because, I mean, I remember you added Christina O'Connell from Hoddesdon as well during the season last year, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a lot stronger than what we started with. Obviously, we had a strong squad at the start, but the players we've brought in have added just new and different ways to our squad. Obviously, we added Christina, we've added Rosie, we've added Lucy, we've added a lot of strong players who bring different things to the squad, which is just even worked in our favour a lot more, and it's just strengthened it so much more. Yeah,
I mean, I remember that game. I think it was the first game that Christina played, and it was, funnily enough, it was against Hoddesdon, wasn't it? And she got a hat trick there. She got a hat trick the other week in the league as well, didn't she? So she brings a lot of goals to the squad, I'm presuming.
Yeah, she brings a lot of goals, but she also brings experience with her, and she's a good mentor to have. She's experienced, she brings goals, and just having her on the pitch sometimes brings up the game.
So for someone like that, you say she's a good mentor. Has she helped guide you along at all?
So just having her in the squad, watching what she does when she plays, she adds a different style to our play, and to watch her be able to play helps me develop my game to then be able to follow how she plays, and we kind of work off of each other because we play up front together, and we work off of each other, and she just adds a new style to our play completely.
Yeah, and you said also there's another couple of youngsters that you've added to the squad. Have you spoke to them about integrating within the squad and giving them your kind of experience that you felt last season?
Yeah, I've been speaking to them. Obviously, I used to play with them at Wodson in my youth, so they joined into the second season. So I played with them a little bit before I went just into the ladies. It was nice to be able to get them to come over and play for the ladies, and just be able to speak to them and be and explain what it was all about before they came over. And then when they've come over, they've fit into the squad perfectly.
And do you feel them knowing you from playing with them before helped sort of settle their nerves a little bit and integrate them within the squad?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Even so, they come over when us at youth level, and they fit into our squad nicely there. There's nice, polite people, and then when they've just come over, they're fitting perfectly here.
Yeah, and I mean the team. You've had a fair start to the season. We'll get on to yesterday's game in a bit. But has Danny said to the team about any targets, or have the squad spoke about any targets of what you want to achieve for the season at all?
I think everyone has their individual goals for the end of the season, but as a team, I think we just want to progress and start to push our way up. And our performances so far have showed how willing we are to compete against big squads. And I think our main aim is to try and either push for a promotion, push for the topper end of the league, or push for even a trophy.
Yeah. I mean, you think? I mean, you've got some strong teams in there. You've got Millwall in there, Stevenage, who are struggling this season, aren't they? Have they lost a lot of players? Do you know at all?
Stevenage's squad, yeah, they've had a few players who have been taken out of their reserve side and gone into their first team, and then they've brought in some new players. But obviously, it takes time to then rebuild the squad and try and fit everyone in and learn how each other plays to be able to build that squad and be able to play with each other well.
Yeah, I mean, you've had some league games. I know you've been missing, which we'll talk about shortly. You did play in the FA Cup game against Watford. You lost 2-1 and you got the goal. I mean, how's that feel to score in the FA Cup?
Yeah, it was a real highlight of the start of my season to know that I scored in the FA Cup. It was a real boost, but it was a more disappointing result to see how we managed to lose a game where we dominated for 80 minutes, but that one slip of concentration then led to something that just ended up in a loss, which is it's kind of upsetting. But we moved on. We've gone on. We've proved ourselves. We've gone on, got better results, and we was unbeaten in the league up until yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, you have had a couple of injuries. One looked quite bad a few weeks ago. I did see a picture of you on a stretcher, and I remember your dad tweeting about being over A&E, and then you had a back muscle injury. So how's that doing now?
Yeah, it's got a lot better. I've had, I think, about 6 weeks off football. And I'm back training on Thursday, which I'm looking forward to, and I'll be back ready to play the first game. But I can possibly play, which will be the Stevenage game on the 8th. Yeah.
I mean, that game, that's the next game that the team's got. I mean, it's been a bit stop-start for them. Obviously, it benefits you because you haven't missed so many games. I mean, there's only 7 teams in the league, so I guess it makes it a bit difficult, stretching the games over that season. But it can't make it easy for Danny and the rest of the squad having a game every couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, no, it's not easy at all. They keep putting breaks in, and I think they're thinking about maybe having us play each team 3 times. So obviously it gets to the games and stretches it further along the season, because at the minute we've played 5 games, and then by the time it gets to close to the end of the season, we're going to finish our season by the start of January. So I think they're contemplating doing it that way. So then we get some more games, and then we haven't got a stop-start of having a break in between, which isn't the ideal thing. Once you're on a high where you've won a game, you don't want to have a week's break, because then it's hard to pick up that mentality and that winning feeling 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that same rumour about the possibility of a third round of games. I guess they'd draw lots or something to be to determine who's at home and who's away and things like that. But like you say, your next game is the 8th of November, and then the next game isn't until the 29th. So 3 weeks off from there, it's it really doesn't help at all.
Yeah, no, it's not ideal at all. It just stops your season, and then it kind of puts you on hold, and then you kind of lose that winning mentality for the next game, and it's hard to pick it up and pick up the same tempo from where you left off.
I mean, is there any inclination about when they're going to make that decision at all about the third round of games?
No, we're not sure at all. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's just a case of wait and see, and But I mean, the thing is, I mean, with there being only 7 teams in the league, because there was one team that dropped out, wasn't there? So there's always going to be 1 week where one team definitely doesn't have a fixture anyway.
Yeah, no, that was like last season as well when we had like 9 teams in the league until one dropped out early on, and so there was always a week where someone didn't have a game, and it just pauses your season, which is just not ideal at all.
And I guess it doesn't make it easy because you want to face a few different teams. You want to a bit more of a challenge, so to speak. And if you're playing the same half a dozen teams throughout the season, it's not so interesting.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It does get the same old, and you kind of learn how each other plays. So then when you get to like this third game, it's like how each other are going to play. So it's just not as interesting because it's like the first or second game you play, you've got that, they could have a different style of play, but it gets changed as soon as you play them third time because you already know how they're going to play.
But I guess for Danny, that'd help him out, and he'd be happy sort of, because obviously he can take notes and remember from the, the previous 2 games and give you sort of, tips and pointers for the next game coming up for them.
Yeah, it does work in our favour at times, but then at the same time, other teams can then do that to us, which then kind of does not benefit us because then it's like if they know how we're going to play, they know how to set their team up around us to then contradict it. Yeah.
I mean, I want to chat a little bit about the women's game in general. Okay, so last week, the FA, they announced a new 8-point plan. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them, but they've said by 2024, they want to win a major tournament. And then they also said they want every primary school-aged girl to have equal access to football in school and clubs. Every girl to have equal access to participate for fun, for competition and for excellence, and to collaborate with clubs to develop an effective, high-performance, inclusive, player-centred pathway. I mean, I don't know, did you see the report at all?
No, I didn't see that.
But I mean, going from those points, how important do you think that will be to growing the women's game?
Oh, that'll be huge. It'll then teach girls from a young age that it's not just a man's sport, it's a women's sport as well. And then it'll help players them develop from a young age. It'll get them into football and then it'll get them working harder, and then there'll be more teams around for girls to be able to go into, and it'll just bring more girls into the game, and it'll just grow from youth. If it grows from youth, then it'll go up, and each lady side will then get bigger. There'll be more of them. There'll be more competition, and the competition in the sport as a whole will grow.
Yeah, I mean, because it's grown already. I mean, obviously, we spoke. You was on the show 6 months ago, but you've got more games on the FA Play. You've got more games being shown on the TV. So a wider audience, and hopefully some of these young girls are seeing that and realising that there is a pathway there for them.
Yeah, it is massive. Like the amount of publicity that women's football is now getting, and the amount of people that are now watching it is massive, and it does give people a boost to think there is somewhere they'll be go, and it does give every woman in the game a bigger boost knowing that they are playing for something.
That's it, and in this area as well. I mean, we've got a few clubs. Obviously, there's yourselves, Hartham United. Very locally, you've got Bury Rangers. We've got Vipers. Sherrard's Wood, etc., etc. So there's plenty of opportunities for these young girls to go along to a club to gain an interest and find a way into a first team of women's football, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot more clubs than what there used to be as well. When I started playing football about 5 years ago, there was less local clubs than what there is now, and you can see that there's more local clubs popping up, and there's more like girls and ladies sides that are popping up locally and a little bit further out as well, which is always nice.
Yeah, for Wodson, I know you've got the under-16s. Do you have any younger age group for the girls at all?
We did used to have the under-13 girls as well, but we don't have them either now. So we haven't got a youth at all now. The under-16s was scrapped after we moved on.
Right. Yeah. So now it's basically just the first team.
Yeah.
So do you think that makes it a little bit more difficult for you to get new players? Obviously, we've mentioned before, you are in the Eastern Region Women's Football League, which is the highest league of all our local teams. Does that help you get players, or not having the youth team, does it hinder you a little bit?
No, it doesn't actually affect us too badly because we have obviously our social medias and that has quite a lot of support around in general. We've got a lot of followers and then obviously that gets publicised and people see it. So it doesn't affect us getting players. As you've seen, we've had like Lucy Sende come over, we've got Rosie had come over, we've got Christina come over. And even without the youth side, we've still got players coming in.
And then there was, another team that we did have locally, Hoddesdon Town Owls. They were in the same division as you, who are the team that dropped out of the league. And it's always a shame to see a team fold, isn't it?
Yeah, it really was. And it was our local derby, and it was just a good game to go to. It was a good game for heads up, and it was my first cup game that I played was against them. So it was just a special kind of team in both aspects for the club and for me as a general.
Yeah, and good memories for you because you scored in that game, didn't you?
Yeah, that was my first senior goal against them. I scored a hat-trick against them in the cup.
Yeah. So, I mean, fond memories. And I suppose for you, it's just a bit more of a shame that, that they've gone and you won't get another hat-trick against them.
Yeah, in that aspect, yeah, it's also kind of a shame.
Pete, was there anything you wanted to come in and speak to Chloe about?
I was just wondering, you're talking generally about the women's game, and not only have we seen an increase in the women's game and coverage, but we've also seen an increase in pundits, commentators, doing the kind of things we do. I just wonder what you kind of felt about that.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to watch a game of football and have a women's pundit have a say in it as well, because it just gives that added feeling of you can see that the women's game's growing and you can see how people are actually starting to give it the recognition that it actually deserves.
So take yourself forward when your playing career is over. Do you fancy giving it a go, or even before? Do you fancy giving it a go?
Yeah, I'd give it a go. It'd be a nice change to be able to sit there and you just think about what you would do in that situation and see how they do it differently during a game, which would be nice.
When you're out injured, I just wonder. Some players just do not like watching football. But are you a good spectator, or are you always kicking the ball for the team when you're out there watching?
It's not the nicest feeling knowing that you can't exactly watch. You can watch your team, but you can't go and play for them. But it's also lovely to be able to go and watch and just cheer them on. And even on the telly, I like to watch like Tottenham play. I watch the women play. It's just nice. It gives you something to do, and it's just what I enjoy as well.
And enjoying the game. I mean, how much you get involved in kind of looking at not only for enjoyment as a fan, but looking at the tactics and picking out from a player's perspective what's going on out there.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. I do like to sit there, and sometimes you can sit there and you can work out a team's tactics while you're watching a game, which is always quite interesting. That's why even at school I study sport, because it is something that I could look into going into.
And talking of looking at going into, obviously, we've talked about the female game as far as players are concerned, talked about pundits, commentators. Next big one will be a female manager in league football, won't it?
Yeah, that'd be a shock to the system. I don't think you've seen it. You'll see a women like at a top league club for a little while, but it'd be a nice change.
And certainly, people did say we wouldn't see women officials, but, we do now see them at the top level, so it does happen.
Yeah, no, it is nice to see how the women's game's growing and seeing women pop up more into even the men's football and like the higher leagues as well. It is really nice.
And I think it's great for us, isn't it, Si? Obviously, we cover our men's football every week, and we've covered women's football since the beginning of the show, which has been excellent.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think the thing is, you say covering women's football since the start. It all started with with Hartham Ladies and Bury Rangers, who obviously they've got their new women's team as well. But if Chloe wants to get into the commentary side of things and stuff like that, it sounds like we might have a new recruit, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely. Always welcome, Chloe. Always welcome.
It'll be a nice thing to do on a Sunday night after playing a game.
Oh, that's it. But sometimes, of course, you do have to clamber up to commentary boxes and various other things, don't you, Simon?
You do indeed.
Okay, well, Chloe, it's been an absolute pleasure. Always is to have you on the show, and thank you so much for supporting us as well, because we know you're always out there listening. And wish you all the best for the season and on your return. And fingers crossed that Wodson Park you'll get one of those trophies.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
So thanks to Chloe for that chat. Absolutely great to catch up with her again. But Pete, I think we should move on to donuts.
Let's open our box.
This is East Hearts Radio 90 Minutes Donut of the Week.
So last week's winner was the Premier League, Pete, and this got a record winning margin. 61.8% of people voted for the Premier League. So, I'm not surprised, really.
Well, there is a bit of a rumour doing around. You were telling me there's a possibility there might be scrapping the $14.99 and actually coming to their senses and things. So, I just wonder if the pressure of a donut award might just play a little, very, very small part in all that.
Might persuade them. I don't know. But I'm going to start. So my first nomination is for Tottenham fan Ben Dolman. During the game a couple of Sundays ago against West Ham, which was the 18th of October, he tweeted, "We bring on Bale, West Ham bring on Lanzini," with 4 crying laughter emojis. At the time, Tottenham were 3-0 up. Everyone knows what happened. It went on to finish 3-3. Who got the winner? Yes, it was Lanzini with an absolute worldie. And Ben's tweet went absolutely viral. And Pete, let's just say he came in for a little bit of stick.
Never jump the gun. It's always dangerous. That tweet should have been followed by 3 little sad emojis, shouldn't it, really? But I would like to nominate the security guards at the San Siro Stadium, who last week initially refused Borussia Mönchengladbach striker Marcus Thuram entry into the ground, despite the fact he was playing against Inter Milan in the Champions League at the time. In the end, the 23-year-old, who is the son of French World Cup winner Lilian Thuram, was forced to Google himself on his phone and show it to the overzealous security guards to prove who he was. It's a classic. Look at my phone. Here's Google. That's me. Now let me in.
It's not the best way to go about things, is it?
Not at all.
My next nomination, Pete, I mean, we often say about how wonderful our managers are talking to us after matches, win, lose, draw, whatever. And this nomination makes me feel lucky, okay? Because this goes to Crawley Town manager John Yems. Asked after their game against Exeter City last Tuesday about why he brought Max Watters off, whether it was a tactical move or a case of him trying to gain more minutes into getting more match fitness, he said, "It's our decision. We decide who plays, who doesn't, who comes off, who doesn't." And then he went on to say he didn't give a monkey's what people think in the stands. Mind your own business.
Okay.
Come on, what's that all about? I mean, the people in the stands, they're paying the wages, they're paying the fee, the wages for him and the players and stuff like that. They'll be there long after he's there. Have a little bit of respect for the fans.
I think there was a great Del Boy Trotter line, wasn't there, that went, did he sue them? And you say, who's that? And they say the Charm School, because I think I probably fits it perfectly. Then again, I've got to say, anyone that's ever interviewed Gordon Strachan, as I have the greatest sympathy for, because he was straight down those lines as well. Anyway, let's move on to our fourth nomination, which is to the parents of the Peruvian footballer who bears his Christian name Osama on his shirt when he plays for second division side Union Comercio. The only problem being his parents are Mr. and Mrs. Bin Laden. Yes, you've guessed it. That makes him Osama Bin Laden. Unfortunately, though, his mum and dad have a little bit of form because they didn't stop there, as he has a brother called Saddam Hussein, and they'd lined up the name George Bush for their third child, only to find that it turned out to be a girl. So that led me off on a bit of a tangent here on looking at South American footballers' names. And it opened up a whole world to me, and I found the world's most bizarre substitution, which I would love to have announced if I was stadium announcer, happened in a match involving Brazilian Serie B side Atlético Goianiense in 2013, when, this is absolutely true, when Michael Jackson replaced John Lennon. Sadly, Mahatma Gandhi didn't get on that day, but he was on the bench. Look it up. It's absolutely true. That year, they had three players in their team called Michael Jackson, John Lennon, and Mahatma Gandhi.
Oh, Peter, Steve King, if you're listening, eat your heart out. That is fantastic, Peter. How did you find that?
It all came from Osama bin Laden. I've got to thank him because someone who wrote the article, I don't take credit for it, who wrote the article had actually looked all that up as well and said, you think this name's strange? Well, what about this one? So there we go. But Mr. and Mrs. bin Laden, what were you thinking of?
Brilliant. Well, let's move on from Donuts of the Week to Performances of the Week, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, there were some great performances this week. I'll give a special mention, the Hearts Senior County League Premier Division for Westport's 4-0 win at Sandridge Rovers. I mean, Sandridge were, pushing for the title last season. Hertford Heath Reserves in the Hertford District League Division 1 went top of the table over their rival Shearing with a 3-0 win. But I've got to say, Hertford Town, during the week, the first team go to Westfield and win 3-1, and then the youth team beat Leiston by the same score and reached the first round of the FA Youth Cup. I mean, what a week.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Great couple of days for them. 2-3-1 victories. And I think, especially that result against Westfield, considering last season, and that result, in the FA Youth Cup, getting the furthest that they have in that competition, fully deserved performance of the week for them.
And as far as the individual performances go, well, I think that's going to be a joint one as well, because we had two young footballers from the area who scored their first competitive senior goals in the same week for Ware. Reece Crowter on Tuesday night, Devontae Sims on Saturday. And he's just so healthy. We've seen the Hertford young players come through. They've got a production line at Ware. I think it's great. And congratulations to those two guys for scoring their first senior competitive goals in the same week. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And hopefully there's plenty more to come from them both. Hopefully there will be. Talking of goals, have a look at the Golden Boot. And you did a really good bit of searching statistics for us in working out that actually top of our Golden Boot table at the moment is Ware Sports' Ricky Brown, because we'd missed the fact he scored 5 for the first team and 5 for the reserves, which means he's got 10 for the season. So he actually heads the table. Cyrus Babai of Oddiston, Carl Roberts of St Margaret's-Bury have got 7. And then we've got a whole host of players on 6. Connor Clark of Sawbridgeworth, Louis Debnam and Callum Falk of Westmill, Billy Banks of Hertford Heath, Henry Branston of Albury, and Simon Scott of Bengio Trinity Vets have all got 6 goals apiece. And interesting, none of our Step 4 players or teams have really got going in that yet. So it'll be interesting to see if they can catch up. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race this season, I think. And I'm sure Liam's going to be chomping at the bit to get himself going. He's got a lot of catching up to do, Pete. He has got a lot of catching up to do, but, 30 goals last year, and not quite sure when he scored his first one, actually, how many he had at this time last season, but I've got a feeling that Olu Akinsanya had scored most of the goals up until probably this time. And Liam then hit a real hot streak, didn't he? So still plenty of time.
That's right. I think you're absolutely correct, yeah. And let's go on to the women's fixtures, Pete, from yesterday. Wodson Park Ladies 0, Lee Ramblers 2 in the Eastern Region Women's Football League. Top of the table there, Millwall Lionesses. They've played 4 and they've got 7 points. Hutton Women are second after 3 games and they've also got 7 points. Wodson Ladies, they're in fourth, 3 games played and 6 points. And bottom of the table, surprisingly enough, Pete, is Stevenage Development. They've played 3 games and they've got no points, but as Chloe was saying to us earlier, they've lost a lot of players to the first team.
Yeah, it's difficult, as Chloe was saying. It's kind of different between reserve team and first team football, isn't it? And sometimes it is very difficult to make that leap forwards. And some of the players in the reserve teams have been playing youth football, and it ruins your continuity a bit, doesn't it? When you have players leave and you have to replace, and players have got to settle in.
That's it. In the Beds and Hearts Women's Football League, Premier Division, Hearts Vipers, they had a free weekend. And game between Chipperfield Women and Hartham United Ladies was postponed due to a positive COVID test. Division 1, this sounds a great game, Pete. Hitchintown Ladies 7, Sherards Wood Ladies 4. Jennifer Nixon with 2, Laura Cousins and Abby Cardle with the goals for Sherards Wood Ladies. And there were 7 different scorers for Hitchintown Ladies. Top of the table there, Houghton Athletic Ladies, they've played 3, got 6 points. Wootton Blue Cross also played 3, 6 points. Sherards Wood Ladies are 9th, played 2, no points. In Division 2, Garston Ladies Reserves 3, Hearts Vipers Development 1. Taz Simons with the goal for the Vipers. And the Vipers took to Twitter and they said, congratulations to Garston Ladies on their performance today. Not the result we wanted, but great experience for our development team. We go again next week. Big shout out to the hosts for their help and kindness with our player who was taken ill at the end of the game. And I can say that their player who was taken ill is all fine. She's at home and all good. Stotfold Junior Ladies 1, Wotton Ladies 2. Good victory for Wotton Ladies. And top of the table there is Garston Ladies. 100% record. They've played 3, got 9 points. Hitchintown Reserves, they've played 2 and got 4 points. Hearts Vipers Development are in 4th, played 2, 3 points. And Wotton Ladies are 5th, played 3, 3 points. Down in Division 3, Bedwell Rangers Ladies 2, Buntingford Ladies 6, Becky Lewis with 2, Georgia Ganaway, Holly Jardine, Katie McFadden and Kieran Rayat with the goals for them. And Bury Rangers Women 1, Oakland Wolves Reserves 2. Katie Deeprose again on the score sheet for Bury Rangers Women. Oakland Wolves head the table with a 100% record, played 3, 9 points, as have Flitwick Eagles. Buntingford Town Ladies are in 3rd, played 3, 6 points. And Bury Rangers are in 6th, played 3, 3 points.
Yeah, it's interesting with Oakland Wolves. There's a real kind of centre of sporting excellence going on there, isn't there? There's all the basketball they've got together, and obviously they've dragged St Albans Ladies over from women's football, and again a real centre on some really good facilities there.
Yeah, it looks like they might be going places, and like you said, they've got the basketball, they've got the football. Are they trying to sort of get a little stranglehold on the area and create a centre of excellence for sports?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how all that develops. Well, developing in the week to come is a full sports programme starting tomorrow night, where all 3 of our Step 4 clubs are at home. Why do you do this? Fix your computer? I don't know, because we can't split ourselves 3 ways. So we have to make a choice of the game we're going to go to. But in the Isthmian League Division 1 South Central, Hertford entertain Chalfont St Peter. 90 Minutes Live will be coming from Wodson Park. We'll be doing full live live commentary of the local derby between Ware and Harlow. Ware picked up that momentum, 2 really good wins, but Harlow Town have signed 5 players in the last week, so I think they're going to be a completely different side to the one we saw at Artingford Berry Park a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they could be different. And I remember that away game, Pete, that was, entertaining, a 4-3 victory for Ware, wasn't it? I remember I wasn't there, but listening to that commentary, it sounded an absolutely fantastic game.
Yeah, one of the highlights, I think, of last season was that one, and the Albert Adu chant as well, which I'm sure was doing the rounds at South Park on Saturday after he got a couple of goals. In Southern League Division 1 Central, we said about this one earlier, Welwyn Garden City are home to AFC Dunstable, who are a big physical team. We saw them pre-season against Ware, so that'll be a tough one for Nicky Ironton's side. In the Essex Senior League, didn't get any easier for St Margaret's-Bury after the thumping at Takeley. They're now at home to Hadley, who are always a very difficult team to face. On Wednesday in the Essex Senior League, Ilford against Sawbridgeworth Town, and then action in the Bluefin Sport Insurance Development League on Thursday with a top 2 early season meet there. Brentwood Town at home to Ware. On Friday also there's some Hart Senior County League Premier Division action, unusual for that to be on a Friday, but Ardiston Town Reserves entertain second place Wingate and Finchley Development. Probably that's on Friday, because it's Cup weekend to come on Halloween, Saturday the 31st, which means we've only got 2 of our senior sides in action in the FA Trophy 3rd qualifying round. 90 Minutes Live will be on the road around the M25 to Horsham, who are taking on Welwyn Garden City. First time Welwyn Garden City have reached that stage in the competition. A trip I'm looking forward to it after we had a little chat with George Ironton and Phil Ravitz, who's Welwyn Garden City's media man, and he was extolling the virtues of Horsham's ground, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was telling us how fantastic it is, and he was saying they got the new ground of the year a year or so ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just want to say, Georgia, don't only go at the flash ground, Come on. Look what we had to do at Chalfont St Peter's to commentate on that game, eh? In the FA Vars first round, Hoddesdon are off to, it's actually quite near Bury St Edmunds, this in Suffolk. Walsham Le Willows is where Simon Riddle's side are going. First round of the FA Vars competition, Hoddesdon hold very close to their hearts, of course, because they were the first ever winners. In the Hart Senior County League Premier Division, top of the table, Royston Town Reserves against Bush Hill Rangers. In Division 1, the Hertford Heath against Buntingford, Standard and Puckridge against Sun Sports. In Division 2, Sandridge Rovers Reserves against Ware Sports Reserves. Hertford District League Premier Cup, MKS Carpentry against Westmill, Ware Trinity against Wormley Rovers Vets. And in the Premier Division, Bendio Trinity against Stockfold Junior Town, Culture Club Athletic against Allenbury's. In Division 1, Icklefield against Watton at Stone, Shearing against Albury, Tunbridge United against Hertford Heath Reserves. In the Division 2 Cup, Bunningford Wanderers against Much Haddam, and in Division 2, Greenbury United against Bendio Trinity Vets, Mangrove against Inter Hoddesdon. In hockey action, Eastern Region Division 2 South Hertford are away to Colchester, Welwyn Garden City away in Division 3 Southwest at Cheshunt. No game, ladies got a week off. There is basketball though, the NBL tips off. I should have used that really, shouldn't I? Oakland's Wolves against Nottingham McDonald's Hoods, 5:45 start for that one. Good luck to the Wolves in their first league game of the season.
And then on Sunday, the 1st of November, Pete, can you believe it? We're November already. The Bedlam Hearts Women's Football League Premier Division, Hartland United Ladies are playing Garston Ladies, and Hearts Vipers are playing AFC Dunstable Women's Blues. In Division 1, Sherrard's Wood Ladies are playing Giggles Wade United. Division 2 sees Hearts Vipers Development host Stockfold Junior Ladies, and Watton Ladies host Hitchin Town Reserves. Division 3 sees an away trip for Bury Rangers to Evergreen Eagles, and Buntingford Town Ladies are also away to Oakland Wolves Reserves.
Well, you mentioning 1st of November. I'll tell you what, it's time for us to get out of here before someone mentions Christmas, I think.
Oh, don't, please.
Oh, I think I already did. Oh, thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Thanks to Chloe for guesting. And if you're out and about, say hello to us at Wodson Park on tomorrow night, when we'll be Ware against Harlow. Or indeed, if you're not travelling to Horsham, you Welwyn Garden City fan on Saturday, then be sure to tune into 90 Minutes Live for full live commentary of the FA Trophy tie.
That's it, Pete. And I shall see you tomorrow night, mate.
See you tomorrow night. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Cheers. Good night.